Tottenham Hotspur 0, Chelsea 1. One of the most atrocious performances I have seen at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in a long time. And you know what? The bar hasn't been very high for good performances at the Tottenham Stadium for a long time. Absolutely atrocious. Atrocious. We couldn't handle the press at all. Completely outclassed in the midfield. Completely outworked. Completely outthought, out-ideaed, outplayed in every level, on every metric, on every facet of what is an accessible part of the game. Shambolic. When we had the ball, we didn't know what we wanted to do with it. When we didn't have it, we couldn't get it back. It's clueless, absolutely clueless. I said before the game, I do care about the performances at home. I don't care as much away from home. I do care at home. But I didn't really care today. I said, if you want to stink the place out, but you go and win the game, I'll tolerate it. But stinking the place out and not winning isn't acceptable at the best of times. But we didn't even, it wasn't a stink fest. It was a clueless. It was clueless. I'm so angry with that display. It looks like we don't know what we're doing. And to lose in that fashion to Chelsea for me is just so annoying. I know we don't usually do well against Chelsea. I know there's the hoodoo. I get it. I know we've got injuries. I get it. I know that the tactics, the plan went out the window in the 4th minute with Berghvall getting a concussion. Their excuses and the context there is irrelevant in this scenario. You have enough time, you have enough talent, you have enough options to be able to put together something more than that. It was really unforgivable, in my opinion. Unforgivable, guys. I'm going to show you the stats in a second. Brace yourself for the XG number. Brace yourself. Smash the like button, guys. Hit the subscribe. If you haven't already, hit the notification bell and drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts. If you disagree, if you think I'm missing the context, I don't care. Like, let me have it if you disagree. But I'm really angry with that performance. I'm so glad I didn't go today. So glad. The last 20 times I've been to the stadium, I've left the most part very thoroughly unimpressed and usually get a bug when I'm there. And so I thought today, you know what? I'm not going to bother. I'll watch it at home. And I'm so glad I did, because I would be absolutely fuming. The boos around the stadium at the end of those that were left said it all. The fans are fed up. But this doesn't start with Thomas Frank, by the way. This has gone on at the stadium for a long time. The performances at home don't represent what Tottenham are supposed to be about. You're supposed to be in the fight. You're supposed to be in the game. You're supposed to look like you have some sort of chemistry, some sort of wavelength. And there really isn't any signs of it. There isn't any signs of on-the-ball understanding. I can't believe that Lucas Berghvall and the concussion was that instrumental, that the tactics having to pivot to having Xavi Simons on the pitch earlier than expected is the justification for why it looks so shambolic. I can't believe that. Like, Moises Caicedo, unbelievable. What a player. Does everything that you want in a 6, but he's not just a 6, is he? He gets forward, he controls, he dominates, he's aggressive, he's physical. I didn't feel like we wanted any part of the battle for the most part today. Only in the second half. Like, the referee let the game flow. I thought Tottenham got away with a couple of bad fouls. It was only through frustration that the thing started to boil over. Bentancur leaving one in. I mean, the Jed Spence one, I don't think was there was nothing in it. I think his heel got the ball before the player, but I just feel like the aggression should have been there from the first minute. Controlled aggression, controlled fight. It didn't look like we had anything in that regard. Like Xavi Simons, I want to go through the players in a second, guys, but individually. But just like my overarching sort of standpoint, Danzo's dropped out of form. He can't track players. That front three that Chelsea have got run us ragged at the back. Pedro Porro seems to have forgotten how to do the best thing he can do, which is kick a long ball. Jed Spence, Again, I didn't think Jed Spence was that bad. Jed Spence was probably one of the better players on the pitch for me, especially in the second half. He got back and he fought and he tussled. Vicario, from the first minute, the corner kick, he drops the corner kick. Nothing happened. Made some wonderful saves, Vicario. Again, he's one of these frustrating guys because you want to kind of just either praise him or criticize him in equal measure. Or it's easy to kind of diagnose a player usually when you say, you know, he's just not good enough or he's brilliant. With Vicario, you're not going to find much better that keep you in the game. But a lot of the time, the reason why he's being forced into making unbelievable saves is because he's an absolute donut with the ball at his feet, and he can come flapping and come absolutely nowhere near the crosses. So, like, he's the yin and the yang. He's Jekyll and Hyde. But look, he kept us in the game today with three or four really, really good saves. We could have lost that game 5-0 and no one could have complained. So I'm angry, yeah. I am really angry. Not because I want to see like pretty football so much. In that, at home, I would like to get us to a point where we can see some actual attractive football. You know, it's part of the enjoyment of watching your team play. But in games like this, just try. Just look like you care. Look like you're going to make 1 second ball. They carved through us at times. And every time there was a physical encounter, for the most part, we came off second best. You know? And I know Chelsea have spent a lot of money. And I know people that want to sort of, you know, kick the can and say, our squad's not good enough. It's the effort that I'm talking about. The effort for me today was poor. Let me show you some of the stats, right? Sorry, at home, having an XG of 0.05. And by the way, that was 0.01 after about 75 minutes. That's absolutely unacceptable. Chelsea, 3. And like I say, could have been a lot more for me. Big chances, 6, 0 for us. 3 shots on goal, 15 for them. 8 saves from Vicario. Okay, I'm not really, I'm not going in on him like I'm going to go in on some of the others. But like it's the summing up. Like at the end there, when we had the free kick in injury time, and he's been marched up, shepherded up to take it, stands there looking for 25 seconds of those precious minutes, and then just gives it to Jed Spence in the end anyway, who gives it back to him. And then he just bangs it forward anyway. It goes straight to the Chelsea goalkeeper, who then breaks on us. And we almost concede if it wasn't for his miraculous save. I mean, like I say, it's Jekyll and Hyde. He puts us in the position in the first place, but then he gets us out of trouble. I'm not that mad at him, but he does the simple things so badly and the hard things so well. It's so odd. It's an enigma. Corner kicks today. Every single one of them just put straight into the hands of Sanchez. Every single one of them. Like, it was so obvious to me after the second corner kick that the commentators were saying about it. Like, Sanchez is standing out. He's predicting this thing. So you should adapt. You've got Cochrane on the bench with his tactics board or his iPad, whatever it is. You've got, 5 or 6 coaches, and none of them are trying to get a message on. Like, someone block Sanchez. Someone do a bit better at blocking Sanchez. Don't foul him, but block him, because he's coming and getting absolutely everything. And if we can't create from open play at home, then we have to rely on set-piece FC. And set-piece FC today was absolutely poor. Let's get back to the stats. Shocking. 384 passes to 422. Tackles, 29 versus 18. Free kicks, yellow cards, 4 versus 2. I mean, it got feistier, but the referee let the first half an hour go. Let's talk about some of the players, shall we? Let's talk about some of the players. Look, the momentumometer, little pockets for Tottenham at home against Chelsea. It was all Chelsea. I get it, it's Chelsea, but that's not, it's unacceptable. We have to why can't we just take it to them more than we do? Why can't we show a little bit of, I don't know, like feistiness? Like when Romero comes on, he's got the fire. He has the fire. Bentancur had a little bit of fight, but only through frustration. Polinia was getting stuck in. We don't have enough other players that do that sort of stuff. Porro doesn't get stuck in. He's not feisty. Jed Spence, he's clever with his defending. He really is very clever with his defending. I really do admire his defensive work at times. But he was absolutely... He doesn't have that kind of that nasty spite in him. Like I say, Pape Sarr, for me today, irrelevant. Everything he was doing was sticking his long leg in the air to try to bring down second balls and getting beaten by Fofana or Chalobah or Caicedo or Reece James. Reece James coming in as a DM today, a double pivot guy. Absolutely insane. Let's talk about this, right? So Vicario gets an 8. This is Sofa score ratings. Listen, forget about them. I'm going to give you mine. I thought Vicario was very good with his shot stopping, but atrocious with the delivery, the distribution, and the coming for corners and that sort of thing. You know, it's the same principle every day. Pedro Porro, forgotten how to pass the ball all of a sudden. He passed the ball out into touch or kicked the ball too long 5 or 6 times from my memory. Shocking. Kevin Danso, not a good performance. Not a good performance. Was turned inside and out by Garnacho's positional sense for the goal was all over the place. Micky van de Ven, absolutely awful. The worst performance I've seen from Micky van de Ven in a long, long time. He looked like he went to Stuart Nethercott settings with those passes. Passes got us in trouble 2-3 times. In fact, if it wasn't for that sloppy, scrappy stuff we were doing around the back, we might have actually had a bit more of a stranglehold in the game. But when we did get the ball, we gave it away so often. We gave the ball away so often in every department, in the final third, in the middle third, and in the top third. Like, absolutely poor. Berghvall, no idea. He's lasted 4 minutes. I mean, I got no idea. He did get hit hard in the head, and I guess you have to go through the protocol. I guess you got to do it the way you got to do it. And like I say, I just don't believe that Xavi Simons coming on and Berghvall going off really was, that instrumental in the disruption to our plans to kind of use that as any kind of excuse. Kolo Muani looked good. I actually really liked Kolo Muani for that 10-minute spell when he went off to the left-hand side, but he's not involved in the game. He's not involved in the game because the midfield battle was lost. And this is why I was saying before the game, guys, maybe it's better if Tottenham go to the back three and do what we were doing against PSG with Muani and Kudus, because you just cut the midfield out. Muani can hold the ball up. Saw 3 occasions today where he can hold the ball up, brings it down well, a little bit akin to Kudus. And Muani's quite tall and languid as well. He's not weak with it. And when he drives with the ball off the left-hand side, I was actually quite impressed. So I was like, if there's any positive, I'd say, despite him not getting involved in the game too much, I thought it was good to see what some of his capabilities. As I say, Pape Sarr for me, nothing. Kudus, got to talk about Kudus, right? Because Kudus for me is the best that we have in an outlet, in an otherwise, he's like an oasis in a desert at times with our structure. But he also holds on to the ball far too long. Every time he gets it, he's trying to take the guy, take on one too many guys. To the point where in that second half, he needed to release. He had 3 or 4 different moments, and he needed to release earlier, and he didn't. And there were people that were there waiting. Xavi Simons was waiting. Pape Sarr was waiting at the edge of the box, and he didn't do it. I feel like he takes on so much responsibility. I'm not going to call him selfish, right? But I think he takes on so much responsibility, and I think he thinks he needs to do it all himself. And that brings me to like Xavi Simons, who came on in the 5th, was subbed in the 75th. Listen, there's moments in him. There's moments, right? And this is a stretch because I was so happy when we signed him. I said to you guys, he was the one, above Eze, above the other sort of names that we were looking at, above the Nico Pazzi. Look, Simons is the guy. But you know what? He doesn't realize how little time he has on the ball in the Premier League. He needs to get it together and move the ball faster than he is. I lost count the amount of times I was screaming at the TV at him today for not realizing that, for either slowing the ball down because he would just cut back inside and move it back to where it came from, or look for a pass that wasn't there, end up going backwards towards Jed Spence or back towards Micky van de Ven. Obviously, the time when he did that wonderful little flick where he showed his body weight and then sold, I think it was Caicedo, or sold Reece James or wrong, and then absolutely pulled it forward and drove forward just to get picked off. He needs to get up to speed with the standard, the pace of the game in the Premier League. I'm sure it's the same with players like Wirtz. I'm sure it's the same with a lot of players that have come from certain leagues where they're just not ready yet. They come with big expectations, big price tags, big levels of skill, but they're just not there yet. I'm not losing my patience with him. I'm not losing my patience with any of them. I understand there are contextualized. By the way, I'm saying this right after the game, right? So I'm bloody angry right now. And maybe I'll chill out tomorrow. So please, forgive me if I'm going too hard, but come at me if you want, because I genuinely think that the system was shit today. But it looks like there's no idea. It looks like the players don't know. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. Like they're looking at each other for inspiration, for moments, for magic, and they don't have it. They don't have it. You know, the last time I saw a little bit of chemistry, I saw some chemistry in the first half against Newcastle with Xavi and Berghvall, and so I'm actually quite looking forward to seeing those two link up today. But he was actually in place of Xavi, so it probably wasn't going to happen anyway. But there's so much room to do, so much room for improvement, so much work to do. But to put on that sort of performance at home, I can only imagine what the fans are going to be saying on Twitter. And you know, I think that the fans have a right to be unhappy with that level of performance. I really do. You know, Thomas Frank, did he get the team selection right? Look, I listen, I'm not going to tell him how to suck eggs, right? He knows what he's doing. But for me, if Romero was good enough, that was fit enough to come on, I would have started my strongest 11 and then brought the other players on later. Or I would like to have seen a back three against Chelsea where you can essentially overload at the top, go longer at the top, get down the width, kind of cut that midfield out, because we were losing that battle all day long. And that was playing Bentancur and Polinia, both of whom, you know, again, I don't think they had like horrendous games without the ball. I think they were trying their best, but when we had it, we were like hunted down by all of them. Their frontline presses unbelievably, their middle presses unbelievably. They're on every second ball. Their fullbacks get forward to encourage the press. It's man-to-man pressing, and against a team like Tottenham who don't have the technical players to be able to overcome it, to get round it or to play through it. It was very, very smart from Maresca and very impressive from them. They could have won 5 or 6-0. Tottenham were lucky to get away licking your wounds with a 1-0 victory, but the boos at the end were reasonable. And there's a hell of a lot of work to do. And we better see a better performance for Copenhagen on Tuesday. Otherwise, well, listen, those fans that are saying, you know, what more can we do? We should be able to do better than that, a lot better. We need help, but it's not like our squad are complete donuts. We've got very talented players in that squad, but they are not clicking, and they're not able to read each other. And when Chelsea's can figure out our set piece routine and handle it with consummate ease, then you have to ask question marks around what our plan B is. And our plan B looks absolutely rudderless at the moment. Really unimpressed. We sit third at the moment. Chelsea join us on fourth on goal difference, and Arsenal 7 points ahead of Bournemouth, who played tomorrow. Tottenham sit third. Sunderland can go ahead of us as well, as can Manchester City. I'll leave it there, guys. Like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you on the next one.